Welcome back, everybody. This is your host, Mr. Nino Barksdale, and this is another Diecast City commentary. This episode is titled Ill Street Blues, and this is Chapter 10. And as you can tell, it's a little different. This is like the first episode that I made where I kind of have the previous episode, do a whole recap. So, like I got this idea from all the other series that do this. I kind of want to make it feel like if anybody's missed a couple episodes or don't know what's going on, I'm always going to try to put a previous episode previously on, so you guys can kind of keep up with it. I try to make these episodes where you can watch them in any, doesn't even be in order. I know I got untitled chapter, but there's enough that goes on in season. I would consider this season 2. But there's enough going on in season 1 and 2 where it's like you should watch it in chronological order. But if you ever just want to just dial in and watch an episode, like these are good just by themselves. Because I got a lot of different storylines. Maybe some people will want to tune in for the gangster, the drug kingpin, my Wire, Snowfall type of series. Like this is what this is, Diecast City, and then I kind of have it titled. Was it Corner Kings or was it Street Hustlers? Like that's what I got this brand titled as. But it's still part of Diecast City. And then I also, people that like the Mafia storyline. Like I got the whole another series that takes place in Diecast City. But that one focuses more on the Mafia thing. So like each episode is like it's gonna be maybe GMT. Which this is what this episode's about. So far we got this is like pretty much the retaliation, the revenge. Not really revenge yet, but retaliation against CPC, because in the previous episode they got in a shootout with one of their corner crews. So at the end of the episode, Marcellus told him, my name is on the street like that, so you gotta make sure you guys represent me. You guys better hold it down like that. We can't go, we can't look like no bitches. So Jules is the muscle. He's the chief enforcer, and then he has Perry, who's in the back. But that was just quick little like retaliation drive-by scene. The title is always how it's gonna be. I love this. I love the theme, and like I said, each season this is chapter 10. I think I started doing this around chapter 6, and that's when I considered the start of season 2, because season 1 through 5 kind of had the same storyline, the same flow, the same continuity. Throughout the whole series, there's the same continuity, but those episodes in the beginning, they're a little. I choose to introduce all the characters, all at the same time. So you had your mafia guys, your gangster guys, and then. As it went on, I saw this is too much. It's too much story. I just want to focus on one genre at a time or one particular branch at a time. But at the same time, this episode is where I introduced the police force. And I really feel like the police force is needed in this series. Anytime you have a criminal show or a show that's like, your main protagonists are the criminals, you need some kind of law enforcement. You gotta have, laws to this, like laws to this world, And this world is gonna develop more, you're gonna see the politics of it, you're gonna see the schools, you're gonna see how things I really want to see to feel like it's alive. So it's Diecast City is really like my East Coast type criminal paradise. Like if it's a world in Grand Theft Auto, I like it to have that sense of realness and that sense of grittiness, and I want to have police. I want there to be representation. You even have bikers. But right now, this is showing the police force at their roll call. And it's a lot of different characters. I got Chief Wiggum. He's the chief of police. So he's just giving these are all like your sergeants, your majors. They all got different departments that they're a part of. And after, like, they do these roll calls to see where they're at, and you kind of get introduced to some of the key players. Like, this is Lieutenant Tracy, basically he's Dick Tracy, but Dick Tracy, like, I don't want him to be a detective, I want him to be a lieutenant, so give him some more rank. So he's Lieutenant Tracy now. So he's like a hard-nosed cop, you know what I mean? Like, if you like Michael Chiklis and The Shield, something like that. He's not afraid to get dirty, like, he'll bruise his knuckles, fight somebody, he'll do some shit like that. Like, he's a hard-nosed cop. And then you got the other character, Major Lawrence. That's the character from Moana with the sunglasses, the black dude with the bald hair. Like, that's Major Lawrence. So they've been instructed to create a major crimes unit to tackle all major crimes in the city. So these are going to be who, every once in a while you'll see the cops. I might make a full cop episode, where I really want you guys to see where they're at. Like, and I feel like that's the way I want to go about this series. But this one is just chopped up. I got a little bit of the cops. I got the cop storyline into the GMT CPC storyline. So you're going to get a lot of, this is like my heavily Wire inspired episode. I tried to get it because if you watch The Wire, it shows you not only this, it's not just a cop show. People think it's a cop show, but it's not just that. People think it's a gangster show, but it's not just that. Like, people watch it for different reasons, but it's really a story of a city. And in the first season of that, you really get a chance to see, like, the police, how they put together a unit to stop a drug crew. You see how drug crews maneuver in projects and corners, how they communicate, how they outsmart each other, when they make a mistake. So you get to see all these intricate details. So that's why this episode is, like, pretty much inspired by that. That's like, I really want to show this is a toy stop motion, but this is like my gritty project scene. I got cash roulette everything around me, pretty good money. I got that in the background. So I really love this scene. Like, there's no dialogue, just kind of like this little montage. This is the GMT crew. Yeah, man. Moving at work. This is one of these stash houses. Cisco, he runs it. They keep it armed. They got girls cooking it up, bagging it up. And then you got TK. This is really showing like what TK does. TK is the money guy. He's the distro. These are all the people that the higher ups, that the kingpin, they put together this coalition. All these guys. This is TK making the drop off to all of the coalition members, lieutenants. So, like, everything kind of goes through him when it comes to the street shit, because he's not really out there dealing it, snaking it on himself, on the corner himself. He's past that. TK, he pretty much runs the barbershop, but every once in a while, he takes care of business. He's supposed to be the middleman, the one who's supplying everybody. And then Jules, he gets his orders from Jules. Jules is the one that's really calling the shots on the street. That's Marcellus's eyes. So this is another dude, like, all these people, they're all part of the record shop. The one before that was at the diner. So, showing them they're in the music business too. I like this scene. Like, all these scenes just go so beautifully, from the laundromat to the little burger restaurant. This shot, the money shot. You got to get that, the money counter. Yeah, you got Jules right there. This is the Empire. This is what this is all about. So, GMT, yeah, they're at the top of their game. Like, they're at the top right now. And, you got all the other drug kingpins, but you'll discover them more and more, a little bit in doses, But I wanted to open up, like, just layers, because to make this world feel.
We fill this off to all this hard work. Yeah. Huh? You don't want to talk to me? Okay.
And this is like the Gun Trace Task Force, another David Simon show. It's called We Own This City, which is about, like, the Gun Trace Task Force of corrupt cops. They pretty much just ran a ruckus. Like, they described them as, like, modern day gangsters, and with badges. Like that, they were just, they did some horrible shit in Baltimore. But like this is supposed to be kind of like with their task forces, like they really get in your face, police hard nose on the street, right, this gun traffic, like catching people, with guns, getting guns off the street, getting narcos, knocking on doors, roughing up people. These guys are like, these are those kind of cops. And here's going into this one. This is like the police station. These are homicide detectives. And this guy, he's I forgot what his name.
Why don't you call me a lawyer? How about that?
But it'll come to me. But anyways, like this is interrogation scene. I got one of the Weasel brothers. Smart ass. Like he's in this scene. He's supposed to be, just I like having these characters, because this is toys. You gotta have fun with it. So I got the Weasel brothers. And I might have a whole bunch of other characters in here, making little cameos. Maybe even have a major storyline. Like I said, in the previous episode we had Scrooge McDuck. He's like the key political figure. So like I told you, this show, there's layers to it. It opens up, all these characters kind of blend in. It's a city. So even though it's like serious topics like gangster shows, gangsters, mafia, mobsters, all that kind of stuff, bikers, it takes influence from them, but it's still wanted to be fun and even though it's serious matters, but you can see how silly it can get. And the police station is a very big showcase of that, because you're gonna have Simpson characters that are cops. You're gonna have Zootopia characters that are cops. It's I got Mulder. I got Mulder and Scully. Like all these guys, but I changed their names, but they're all like part of the police station. So I think I have a nice. I treated the police with dignity. I got them some good. I got some good figures that I want to like, and I feel like their storyline will be really good. I just really want to write a good, gritty story. Cop episode. And then at the same time, just make it kind of realistic, but still make it fun. Might have like the Cookie Monster, like breaking into houses and shit, and having like them chase his ass down, things like that. Who knows? But I want to do a lot more with the police in future episodes. But Detective McCoy, that's who that is. Yeah. So about that same thing with that task force that they're putting together. It's they're recruiting people now. So this is McCoy, Detective McCoy. He's one of the best homicide detectives, and he's one of those cops that's like he's good at his job, but he's very egotistical, or he's like anti-establishment. He doesn't really get along with the bosses, but they gotta respect him because he knows the streets. He's very smart. He doesn't treat people like the drug dealers as like bad guys. You know what I mean? Like he sees what they're about, but he treats them like humans too, because he knows this area. He knows the mobster guys. He has a heart. But he loves the city. But he does see how things are getting out of control. So that's why he's getting recruited. And this right here is Slim, played by who's the guy from Soul? Gardner, Chris Gardner. So I say like the British thing. I was trying to find him, but no, she was Australian. Yeah, but anyways, like that's Joel Gardner from Soul. Like he's playing the character Slim. Slim is another kingpin. He controls the East Side, and like this is just like it's a cool little jazz scene. Like this is his club. All the deco in the back, the pictures in the back. It's all Miles Davis. I love it. I love his hideout, his hangout. Like he has all these soul, like Gil Scott Heron. Some old Harlem portraits, some famous. Like a lot of famous, like just take a look at this. Miles Davis sketches in Spain. That's what. But anyways, yeah, he's kind of like he's a highly respected drug kingpin, just opposite of Marcellus. He's not as ruthless. He's ruthless, but he's not as violent. He likes to kind of show that he has, control, or that he's a diplomat. So that's why. Slim, he's very cunning, and the show goes on. He knows when to say something, when not to. He knows how to provoke a certain reaction out of people. he's just a character that's a good rival to Marcellus Wallace and Jules on the West Side. This is Swackhammer. So Swackhammer, he's another character from Space Jam. And then they having these dog fights, and I know people don't like hearing the dog fight word, but yeah, it's this toys. You got Scooby Doo versus the dog from Coco, Grandma Coco. But yeah, man, we got this is Pierre. Pierre, he's supposed to be like the drug kid. Like he's like the Omar of the series. Like he just got out of prison, did a long stint. So he came back home. He's kind of like a lone warrior. He has a small crew who do some stuff with some people, but at the same time, he's not really part of any faction. He's not part of the East Side. His story will unfold a little bit here and there. I got a nice solid story for him, and he is almost like he used to be part of the Marcellus Wallace crew, but he went to prison. Pretty much, he was what TK was. But then when he went to prison, he got hardened. He took a fall for the organization, and now he's back, and he's kind of resents them. He wants to get his get back, and he don't want to be part of nobody. But he's definitely like a stick-up guy. He's gonna be robbing them, causing them discomfort. And this is another one of those scenes that had like a lot of cameos. Hopefully, you guys caught a lot of them. This is the police bar. So, Woody from Toy Story, I gotta be the cop.
Just give me a good partner.
So,
Nowadays, you're lucky to get a
only
partner.
makes sense.
Amen to that, brother.
Yeah, don't worry about today.
So yeah, it's fun. It's fun putting these sets together though. Like even the lighting that you can tell is like I got the green lighting. I don't know. Like I always kind of feel like when you kind of watch like these East Coast type police dramas or these shows, like it's always an Irish pub. You know what I mean? Especially in New York, Boston, it's always like an Irish cop bar that all the cops go to. Sometimes the gangsters even go there. Other criminals go there. But it's definitely got the Irish folk music playing in the background. So I gotta do more with the scene. But like I said, I want to do more with the cops. So this is gonna be a nice build up with them. And thank you for sticking in, man. This is one of my longest ones. I think this is my longest episode at this point. Yeah, this is this is the coalition meeting. Yeah, this is like all the top drug bosses. And this is Marcellus calling court. Like he's head of the table. Like he's the key to he's the head of the supply. So if anybody wants to get any work out there, the good work, they gotta go through him. He's getting them the deal. So, and it's honestly, this is kind of like it mirrors like what the Italians have with the five families. It's a small faction of it, or even in The Godfather of Harlem, was it Bumpy Johnson? He had he called it Seven Harlems, where he had like all the bosses from Philly, Detroit, Chicago, whatever. He had them all meet up and then try to come up with like their own black gangster organized crime committee. Which this is what this is supposed to represent. Like if all the top kingpins came together and worked together, and get the best product, get the best prices, like negotiate over the territory. There's no beef on the pretty much what The Wire did with the co-op, the Pop Joe and Stringer Bell. That's what the coalition is. So I always wanted to. I never wanted, like I said again, like the city. Marcellus, he shows them, but there's always all these other people around him. Like they got those dudes. You're gonna have pimps. I'm really trying to show like the dark, not the dark side, but just be like the HBO version for stop motion. Like the HBO was to have like a series of stop motion and all their early 2000s shows like Oz and The Wire and The Sopranos. Like that's what this show would be. Like I consider myself the HBO of YouTube for stop motion. Because I don't really see a lot of people doing this, but I do wish that there were more people that did like criminal crime series, stop motion. Like I see a few Lego ones, but I'm always grateful to see anything. The Lego stop motion is very, it's a niche. I'm not really into Legos, but I do like watching them though. there's a couple I've seen, but yeah, like with mine, I got like stop motion reenactments of old classic gangster movies or classic just movies in general. That I got that's all sprinkled out throughout my channel. I got Diecast City. I got music videos that I redone that I use my own stop motion animation to it. So, I'm still like I like doing this. It's fun for me. I like the community. I love the community, man. Like a lot of you guys out there are really creative. You guys put together some marvelous shit, and I really do mean that because. Like I wouldn't have even got to this if it wasn't for me like seeing some of the earlier YouTube stop motion animators. Like I know I'm blanking on a few of them, but I was really into like the Transformers. Like people used to do the Transformers stop motion episodes, and then I used to catch a few of those or reenactment when the movies first came out. Not in the 80s, or I'm talking about like the Michael Bay movies when those came out. Like people were dropping those, and I was really getting into them. I was like, oh shit, man! And I started collecting a few like Transformers myself. And I said, like I didn't know how far I was gonna go, but like all that shit, we wouldn't get here if it wasn't for that. So. Yeah. This is my own market. This is Pierre, robbing the stash house, showing that he's back home.
Now you look smarter than your boy. Make the right decision.
Yeah, like I said, I really do like making these. I'm gonna get back into making a few more. I got a lot that's scenes that just need to get put together properly. But I want to say thank you guys for watching. We'll be back with another one. Take care. Peace.